Hello, my name is Karis, and today I will be showing you how to make this lovely granny square flower bag. And this is my first video, so this is my first time making a tutorial. And if you have any suggestions or any concerns in the comments, I will do my best to answer them. And yeah, let's jump right in. So for this project, you'll need yarn, scissors, a hook that is appropriate for your yarn size. I'm using a 6mm. It is a little bit big, but I wanted my granny squares to come out a little bit bigger, so I used 6mm and a darning needle. I have another darning needle. I have no idea where it went, so I had to use the smaller one, but a darning needle. And yeah, you can, for this project I used four different color yarns, but you can use 5 if you want to use a different color for this inside part or like whatever. So you can, I used 4 personally, but you can also use 5 different colors. So first we're going to make 10 granny squares, and we're going to make the center part first, and I'm going to use pink. You can use a darker pink if you want to like show some contrast, but I'm going to use the same color for the inner flower and the petals itself. Okay, so first you start with a magic circle, and how I like to make a magic circle is I like to just like make an O shape like this, and then insert my hook, pull up a loop, and chain one. This doesn't count as a chain one, it's just to secure our magic circle. And you can do any magic circle tutorial that you want, and it'll still make the same outcome. Okay, and then we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2 of these count as a double crochet, and this is going to be where we chain into, and then this counts as our chain 1 right here, where we slip stitch into, and then this is our chain 1. Okay, and then we're going to make a double crochet, and we're going to chain 1. So you want to do this until you have 5 double crochets. So I'm going to double crochet, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1. So you want to do this until we have 5 double crochets, or 6 of these posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, and then 6. And then we chain 1, pull our magic circle tight, and we are going to slip stitch into that 3rd chain right here. So this is our double crochet, or our 2 chains right here, and then we're going to slip stitch into this 3rd chain right here. So I have to work around a little bit, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that chain. And there we have the middle part of our flower. Then we're going to start making these petals. You can change colors here if you want. I'm gonna use the same color. And yeah, so next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to chain 1. This counts as our unfinished double crochet, and what I mean by that is that you're going into this gap right here. We're gonna act like we're doing a double crochet. So yarn over into the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then instead of yarning over, pulling through 2 again, we're just going to keep that on our hook. So then we're going to do that again. So yarn over, in through the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we have another one. So we want to do this 2 more times until we have 5 on our hook. So 1, 2. And then now we have 5 on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5. So that is our first petal. After this, we're going to chain 2. So 1, 2, and we're going to do the same. We're going to yarn over like we're making an unfinished double crochet, leave that on our hook, and we want 5 of those. So we want to make 5 unfinished double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So we have 6 on our hook, but 5 unfinished double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, pull through all 5, and then chain 2 like that. And then we're going to do the same for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, you're gonna grab your next color for the leaves part right here, and you're gonna make a slip stitch. How I make a slip stitch is I have 2 fingers, I wrap the yarn around like this so it makes a cross. I take the yarn, I put it inside of the hole, and I pull through. So like that, but I actually want a smaller tail than that, so I have less to weave in. And it's kind of the same size, but yeah. And we're gonna put that on our hook, and wait, let me put it this way. And we're going to find where we left off right here, and we're going to pull it over until we find our next hole, which is right here. So this is the hole that we're going to start our first leaf in, and we're going to make a slip stitch inside of that hole. And I like to do this like on top of the chain we just let off, so I don't have to weave in later, so it'll just be on top, and also the little chain as well. So I'm gonna leave that where I'm gonna like work on top of it. And you are going to chain 1. So this counts as our first unfinished double crochet like we did before. And you're going to make 3 more unfinished double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And we have 4 on our hook, so we're going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and chain 1. And then into the same hole, we're going to make 4 more unfinished double crochets. So 1, 2, working on top of those tails if you want, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 5 on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 5, sorry, and then I'm going to chain 2. And I'm going to cut these tails shorter so that they're out of the way. And yeah, so we chain 2, and then into the next hole, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the 4 unfinished double crochets, chain 1, into the same hole, 4 unfinished double crochets, and then chain 2, and then into the next hole. So we have 4, we have 5. We're gonna go through all of them, chain 1, 4 more unfinished double crochets into the same hole, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through all, and then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to do this for the rest of the petal and to the rest of them, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so I'm at the end. I yarned over, pulled through all 5, and I chain 2, and then you're going to you're going to slip stitch into this chain right here. So I'm going to slip stitch into it, and now we have the second part of our leaf stem. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to cut a small tail. Okay, for the next part, for the second row of flowers, we're going to use a darker green, or you can use the same color green. And I'm going to make a slip stitch again, or a slip knot, sorry, a slip knot again, leaving a small tail at the end. I'm going to put it on my hook, and I'm going to find where we left off and move it over to this hole. So it's going to be like in between our chain 1, and I'm going to slip stitch into that hole like that. And then I'm going to move the tails over so I can work on top of them so I don't have to weave in later. Okay, so we're going to make these flowers, but instead of 2, it's just going to be 1. And I'm going to chain 1, and that counts as one of our unfinished double crochets. And I'm going to make 3 more unfinished double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And then I have 4 on my hook, so I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and then I'm going to chain 2. So 1, 2, and I'm going to cut this yarn right here so you can see it. And then I'm going to do 4 unfinished double crochets into the next gap right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 5, and then chain 2, and then into this next gap right here. And we're going to do the same thing until the end, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I've reached the end, and then I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to slip stitch into where we pulled through all of them. So this big chain right here, and I'm going to slip stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to leave a small tail and pull through like that. So here is the flower right now, and then we're going to make our border the next part. Okay, for the next part, we're going to make a slip knot with our border color yarn, whatever color that is, and we are going to make a slip knot, leaving a small tail, and we are going to find where we left off, move that over like this, and into that next hole, we are going to slip stitch. And then I'm going to move both of my tails over so I can work on top of them, and we're going to start our border. So for the border, we're going to be using treble crochets instead of double crochets, and they will be finished. So I'm going to chain. Hey, so I actually made a mistake here. You're not going to be chaining 3, you're actually going to be chaining 4, because it'll be easier to make the border more seamless. So ignore where I said to chain 3. 3, 1, 2, 3, and this counts as one of our treble crochets. And then I'm going to make 3 more treble crochets. So how you make a treble crochet is you yarn over 2, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So one more time, yarn over twice, insert my hook into the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So then we want to make one more of this, one more treble crochet, and then we want to chain 1, and then into the same hole we're going to make 4 more treble crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4, like that. So we have our border right here, and then into the next hole we're going to make 4 treble crochets without like chaining anything. So just next hole, 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next hole, 4 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next hole is going to be another border. So I'm going to make 4 treble crochets, chain 1, 4 double crochets, and then into the next hole is just going to be 4 treble crochets, 4 treble crochets, and then another border, 4 treble crochets, 4 treble crochets, border, 4 treble crochets, 4 treble crochets. So I'll show how to do the border one more time. You're going to make 4 treble crochets. So 1, that is not a treble crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then chain 1, and then 4 more double crochets into the same hole. Treble crochets into the same hole, sorry. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then for these next 2 holes, it's just going to be 4 treble crochet, 4 treble crochet, and then the border, what I just showed, then 4 treble crochets, 4 treble crochets, border, 4 treble crochets, 4 treble crochets. Okay, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you've reached the end, you're gonna slip stitch into that 4th stitch, and let me do that. So you're gonna slip stitch into this 4th stitch, and you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch as well, so that it's like more seamless. And then you are going to chain 1 and fasten off your work. Okay, so I don't know where the footage is where I said to make 10 of those granny squares, but you will be making 10 granny squares, yeah. So once you finish your granny squares, you're gonna lay 4 of them out just like this, so back like this. And we're going to make a slip knot with our yarn that we're gonna be lining the top of our bag with. And we're going to slip stitch, into this chain 1 stitch. So this chain 1 stitch, I'm going to slip stitch into it, and I'm going to chain 2 like this. Then I'm going to find our next stitch, and I'm going to do 4 double crochets into that stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to do 4 into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to do 4 all the way along until we reach the chain 1 at the other end. Okay, so now that we have reached the end of the line and we have our chain 1 stitch, we're going to make 1 double crochet in that chain 1 stitch. I have to wiggle around a little bit. Okay, and make 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, and then we're gonna turn around and we're gonna go all the way to the end again, doing 4 in each stitch. So for the next stitch we do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then next one 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we continue on until we reach that chain 1 at the end. Okay, now that we have reached the chain 1 stitch at the end, we're going to yarn over, put our hook through that stitch, and we're also going to put it through this next part right here. So we're going to put our yarn through this chain 1 stitch right here as well. Oop, I need to move my yarn over. Put it through that chain 1 stitch, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through all of both of the chain 1 stitches, and we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have connected the 2 stitches right here, and then we're going to continue on with the 4 here, and then we're gonna do one double crochet here, 4, and we're gonna connect. You're gonna connect it again, and then you're gonna go up with 4 in each, making sure that you use your back side and not the front side, so that they connect like this, and then up here, and then it's going to be 1 and then 4 all of these stitches, and then connect here. You're going to connect it here, and then up 1 double crochet here, 4 all the way here, and then I'll meet you at the end to connect them all, to connect it all to the end. Okay, I have reached the end, and I'm going to do 3 more stitches in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna do the 1 double crochet here into the last one. And when you reach the end, you just do 1 double crochet without joining it to the next one. So we're not going to join it just yet. We're going to just do 1 last double crochet like this, and then chain 1 and fasten off your work. Not know where my scissors are, but so you cut that off, and then it's going to look something like this. So all of them are connected like this through that, and it's not connected just yet because we're going to add on the granny squares and line it if you want to before we connect the whole bag together. So after we finish the ribbing on our front part right here, we're going to start attaching our other granny squares to our piece. So you want to find this end of the granny square, and we're gonna whip stitch all the way across here. So you want to have a pretty long piece of yarn so that we can start stitching our work together. So you're gonna find the chain 1 stitch right here, and we're gonna go through and we're going to find that chain 1 right here. That chain 1, it already has a thing in it, but we're gonna go through it again so that everything can be equal. And we're going to pull through. So and then you pull, oops, sorry. You pull the yarn all the way through, not all the way through, sorry. You're gonna leave a little tail like that. And then you're going to start stitching up the work together. So you're gonna find the next stitch right here and put it through with that stitch. So like that. And it's going, and then you pull the yarn, and it's going to start like wrapping around. So we're going to be stitching them together, and then the next stitch here, and then the next one here, and then pull through all of your yarn, and we're gonna start stitching them together like that. And you're gonna go till the end of the row, and then until the end where you find your chain 1, and then I'll meet you there. Okay, so now that I've reached the end, you're going to get your chain 1 here, and the chain 1 on the other side, and pull through like this to connect them. Then you're going to find the chain 1 on the other granny square so that we can start going up here, and then we're going to go down here, and then we're going to keep going and doing that with all the rest of them. So we're going to connect it with this chain 1. So now they're connected. Then we're going to start stitching the way that we did before. So the chain 1s are connected. Then I'm going to start whip stitching. So there's the first stitch connected. Second stitch, that, third stitch, that, fourth, and then you're going to keep going. Once you've reached the top of it, you'll take your chain 1 and connect it with this double crochet right here, and then you'll keep going to the side, and then you'll do what I just did until you have this one connected, this one connected, one here connected here like this, 1, 2, and then another connected here, and then another connected on the side like here. So you'll just keep going and keep stitching until you have all of those granny squares connected together like that. Oh wait, sorry, no, you're not gonna have one here because that one, so you're not gonna have another granny square at this end right here, because that granny square is this one folded over. So do not connect one on that side, or it's going to be it's gonna have like 2 sides. So Okay, I'm gonna show you how to work over a thing like this, a stitch like this, sorry. And so what you're gonna do is, so here is a regular one, so we just go through like that, and then one where we did those chain, those 2 slip stitches, you're just gonna go through the slip stitch and then go through this regular stitch on the other side, go through the slip stitch, go through the regular stitch on the other side, and then you can like flip that over. This, you're not gonna go through this one because this one is the same stitch as this slip stitch right here that we already went through, so you're just gonna skip that underneath stitch that's underneath that that slip stitch and chain 1. So you're gonna go in through the next one like this, and then the next one like that, and then you should be at your chain 1. So there's a chain 1 right there, and then there's a chain 1 right there. So I'm going to go through both chain 1s, and I'm going to grab my next granny square, and this granny square is going to be the last one before I show you what to do the rest, because you're not gonna make a granny square on this other side. So we're just gonna whip stitch both of those sides. Okay, so once you've finished all of the granny squares, sewing on all of these except this end right here, you're gonna move back to the right side, and remember all of this is on the wrong side, so this is the right side on the other side. So you're going to get your granny square here, and we're gonna put the last 2 granny squares right here. So this side isn't going to have any, it's just this bottom 2 right here. So you're gonna get another long chain of yarn, not as long as the other one because it's only 1 2 1 2 this time. So we're going to attach this yarn to our needle, our sewing needle, and our yarn needle, sorry. And you're gonna attach the chain 1 stitch right here, both loops like this, and attach the chain 1 here like that, and don't go all the way, just leave it like that. And then we're going to start whip stitching, or any way that you do it, and you're gonna go all the way to the top. And once you reach the chain 1 here, you're going to take that chain 1 and attach it with this part. So I'm probably going to like attach it like this right here, so that like through all of these, so that it's more secure like that. And then you're gonna go down, and then you're gonna attach it here and attach all 3 here with the chain 1 and attach all the way here. So all of this will be whip stitched together, and I'll see you then. Okay, so once you reach the chain 1 at the end, you're actually going to want to go into that chain 1 stitch here, and the chain 1 stitch here, and the chain 1 stitch here, so that we go through all 3 and it can all securely be knotted together like that, and then we can continue on. So disregard what I said before. Okay, so once we finished sewing on the last granny squares, it is time for us to make our straps before we line it and close up the bag. You don't have to line it, but I'm gonna line it because, you know, there are holes here and I want to be able to use the bag. So I'm going to make the straps because the straps are gonna lay inside the fabric before I put the fabric on. So let me show you how to make one. So you're gonna get your yarn, and the yarn that you want to be the inside of your strap right here, and you're going to make a slip knot. And then chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you're going to skip 1 stitch and make a single crochet into that second stitch from the hook. So, and then you're gonna single crochet down so that you have made 5 single crochets. 4, 5. And then you're gonna chain 1 and turn your work. So I like to work my my tail from my magic circle, my slips knot into the side so that it's hidden and I don't have to sew it in. So I'm gonna work behind it like this, and I'm going to make my single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just gonna do this for our strap. We're going to chain 1 after each row. So I made 5 single crochets, I chained 1, turned my work, and I'm gonna make 5 other single crochets. And you're gonna do this until you reach your desired strap length, or I'm doing 55 rows. You can do how many rows that you want, but it's totally up to you how long you want your strap to be. But I'm making mine pretty short, and I'm doing 55 rows. So this is 1, 2, and then I'm on my 3rd row right now. So I'll see you once I finished my 55 rows. And I'm going to chain 1 afterward and fasten off my work. Go get my other scissors and fasten off my work. Okay, so once you have had your strap, you're going to get your other color yarn. Oh, it's right here. Get your other color yarn and make a slip knot with it. You're gonna take the yarn and find the edge of the yarn here, because we're gonna make ruffles along the edge. And I'm gonna work underneath this so that I don't have to worry about that, and work underneath that too. So I'm gonna slip stitch into this 5th stitch right here. I'm going to make a slip stitch like this. Gonna move this yarn over like that, and I'm going to chain 2 like that. Okay, and then into the next stitch I am going to make 4 stitches into the next stitch. So 4 double crochets into the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm working on top of those 2 stitches. I mean those 2 lines right there, so that I don't have to worry about it later. And then into the next row. So we're going to be working into each last stitch, whether it be the stitch itself or where we turned around here. So for the next one, for the next row, 4 into that as well. So 1, 2, oop, I think I pulled it through. 1, 2, 3, oop, 4, like that, and then 4 into the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you should see that it starts to ruffle up, and it's going to look like this when you're done with it. So you do it on each side, and even the last stitch as well, so it's gonna ruffle up like that. Yeah. So now that the 2 straps are done, we're going to get our yarn and our needle, and we're going to attach them by this side. So it's this, we're going to do it from, attach it here to here and here to here at the two peaks. So we're going to take one side and we're going to line it up so it's in the middle of the top one of the peaks, and we want to attach them with the beige part or your border part and not the frilly part. So we're not going to do it like up here, we're going to do it a little bit down here. So you're going to take find the end, and then we want to line it up with the peak or the chain 1 stitch, and we're going to whip stitch through. So I'm going to do like that, and we want to make sure that we're doing just the beige part of it, so we're not whip stitching through the green part or the border like that, and it's gonna be through the beige part. So then make sure it's still lined up, and here through the beige, and then in the middle, so this is the chain 1 stitch, and then we're going to do that through that middle 3rd stitch right here, so everything is lined up together. So like that, and like this. Like that. Oh, I pulled it through. But that's basically the gist of it. So then the front is going to look like this. So the straps are hidden behind this part, and it has been stitched through so that it's like that. And then how you fasten it off, my needle came off, but we can I just need one more stitch here, right there, and then you can go through each other to make a loop like that, so we can tie it off and make sure it's secure. Take my needle off, make some knots so that it won't come loose. Another knot, and you can cut it off and use the yarn for the other strap. But you want to make sure that it's straight while you're doing the other one. So I'm gonna run my hand through, and I would crochet it on like this so that it's straight like this while I am doing it. And then the next strap, we're going to take the other one and put it on just like you did the other one. Run it through so that it's straight and you don't have like a turn in it, and the other peak right here. And then we're going to and then I'll show you how to line the bag as well. Before we sew our lining on, we're going to stitch the rest of our bag together. And for this part right here where we didn't join together, you can take the ends and tie them into 2 knots. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to tuck it in because it's going to be hidden by the lining anyways. So I'm going to leave it there like that. And so you want to take a long piece of yarn and your needle, which I do not know where my needle is. Oh, here it is. So you're going to take your needle and your long piece of yarn, and you are going to stitch it like this. So this part is going to have to be cut, but we can start from this end and go up, down, up, and then you can go up or you can go down, but these two are going to have to be different because we're going in 2 different directions. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm going to, oh sorry, you're gonna need to do this inside out. So let's flip everything, and we're going to stitch all of this inside out. And when we did our sleeves, our straps, we did it inside out as well. So I don't know why the bag was right side out, but everything we're gonna do is inside out. So let's arrange the bag back together. So we're gonna start from this end right here, and we're going to just start through all 4 loops like that, and then the next one, like that, and then the next one, and we're gonna keep on going just like how we whip stitched the other time, and we're gonna keep going like that. And you're gonna go up, down, up, and then down or up, doesn't really matter. I'm probably gonna keep going straight, and then I'll come back and I'll do that part right there, and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, after you're done sewing up all of the loose ends, you're going to get your fabric. So I cut my fabric to about the size of the bag, except like the triangle part right here that we're gonna have to get out. And my fabric is flipped inside out so that I can start sewing on the sides. So I'm going to sew this part of the bag all the way up to where it ends here. So I'm going to make a mark right here, where I should stop sewing. So right here, and then I'm going to make the same mark on the other side. Right here. So I'm gonna stop sewing the same way on each side, and then I will meet you once I've done that. And make sure that your bag is it's lined up at the top so that it's all nice and even. Okay, after you finish sewing down the sides, you're gonna fold it over so that you're at the very edge of where this folds down, so that we can draw our cross and start and cut the excess fabric right here. So I'm going to find this point right here and draw a little mark so that I can cut it, and I'm gonna fold it back over so that I can fold where I need to cut off. And I'm gonna leave a little bit of excess so that I can snip away as we're going to put it onto the bag, so that I don't cut away too much. So I'm gonna draw a little bit. Oh, that does not have a good lead. I'm gonna draw a little here so that I can see where I need to cut, and then I'll do the same thing like this so that I can cut it into a triangle. So like this. I'm doing it kind of messy so that you can see what I mean. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. You're gonna do a triangle cut. Like this. Maybe you want to use like a marker so you can actually see it. Probably go back with a marker afterward. And then you're gonna cut alongside where it is. You might want to leave a little bit excess so that you can cut as you go. Show you when it's cut. Okay, so I've cut the yarn now, and after you cut the yarn, you're going to want to flip the inside bag that we just made inside out like this. So now it's right side. So all of the bag is now right sided, and we're going to, but this one's still inside out. And we're going to put the bag inside like this. So it's still inside out, but the bag is right sided. The inside bag is right sided. So put it like this. Then we're going to sew the back part onto the crochet bag itself. So we're gonna sew it like this, and then when we flip it inside, it's going to be right-sided. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and sew this part onto here. Sew that part here, and then sew that part here. And you can use regular yarn if you have the needle for that, or you can use just regular thread. I'm probably going to use thread so you can't really see the stitches because they're so tiny. But yeah, and if you want a more in-depth tutorial on how to sew, you let me know and I can post a tutorial on that as well. Okay, so I ended up being really lazy, and I'm only going to stitch the peak and the middle and the peak, and on the other side the same thing as well. And let me show you how I did that. So I'm using this needle that can also hold the yarn as well, and I'm going through finding like the top of the strap and stitching using any stitch, it doesn't really matter, going and stitching the yarn through like this, and it doesn't really matter what stitch you use. I just like to use this one. And obviously you don't have to do this. You can go all the way through with yarn, or you can go all the way through with thread, but this is just my lazy alternative that I'm doing, because I feel like because the lining's gonna stick anyway that you do it, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to tie this off right here and then cut my yarn. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for this middle part right here, and on the back the same thing, the 3 on the back. Okay, so I did crochet this part as well, just for a little bit of extra security. And you can flip your bag inside out, and there you have your bag. It is so cute. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will try my best to answer them. I know this wasn't like the best tutorial, it's my first one, but I hope that you make it, and if you do, tag me on Instagram and let me see how you made it. And don't forget to subscribe so I can make more videos on how to make cute stuff like this. And yeah, thank you for watching.